Good evening, Internet, and welcome to episode 17 of Malt Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nylin. My usual thanks this evening to Incarnate for our mapping. The 5e Magic Shop tonight is a new one, just because they've got some various tools which I've been using to manage the game these last couple of weeks. Go check them out. They've got a Patreon page, really useful tools, stuff like detect magic auras, shop generators, travel time generators, all those sorts of things. Really, really useful if you struggle like me to keep track of those things as a DM. Hero Forge, you will notice some new little tokens on the bottom of our stream page, or stream window I should say. So we've been playing around with the new colour options, really loving them. So if you've not used them to create your characters yet, highly recommend that. With our audio, as always, Tabletop Audio are a great resource for sounds, and also a massive thanks to D&D Beyond for just general game management, character sheets, all that good stuff. We are now on Twitch, as I announced last week. Our regular schedule is trying to be Sunday, Wednesday and Friday evenings. That will slip every now and again depending on sort of the team's commitments, but where possible we're trying to get that out to you as regular as possible. Episode 4 went out last night and was well received, so we hope to catch you on there. A couple of the guys will probably be sitting around in the chat ready for you to interact with. And then finally, my thanks as always is to Battle Bards. As I mentioned last week, we are now an affiliate of Battle Bards, so if you want a cheeky discount, be sure to go over to Battle Bards and enter the coupon code Malt and Magic when you register. That's all for the sort of thanks and announcements tonight. Let's get on with it.
Good evening, all.
How are we doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Look at our lovely new tokens.
Oh, they're really cool. I love them.
They're so beautiful.
Good stuff. So last week we had
just a quick one before we start, which I'll cut out. I probably need to cut out just a section of your bit then, because when you say went out last night, you will say that in 6 weeks' time.
True.
Do you know what? Just leave it in. Leave it in. For those people watching.
I'll just put.
Went out 6 weeks ago.
I'll just put yesterday, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'll just put it up on screen.
Went out 6 weeks ago, folk. It's fine. I'm a DM. I'm not meant to keep track of time frames, you know.
Don't even
that's
correct it. Just
definitely
put
not something you should
over
do.
his face as he said it.
Just one of those, like, very quick facepalm gifts, just like a buff and gone again. And back in the room.
Twat. Anyway, so last week we had a bit of a travel episode. Obviously finished up those tasks we had in Seameat. Met the brother of the dwarven blacksmith, mainly because your DM can't keep track of his accents. I've also looked back in my notes and noticed another mistake about that as well, but we won't go there. We'll leave that. That's fine. And eventually, he's not meant to be able to speak.
His brother or the other guy?
His brother is not meant to be able to speak. So technically, I wasn't wrong. Anyway, so eventually, after discussing multiple different routes to try and get back to the Malt Masters Keep, decided you would try and charter a ship to take you across Loch Essamere up towards, or as close as possible, to Sorrow's Falls and sort of the mountains that surround the Malt Masters Keep. And yeah, that was sort of the majority of the episode was making that discussion, or having that discussion, making the decision, having that travel, and eventually being dropped off by the crew of the Summer's End. And then you made your way up along sort of the shore, or along the edge, I should say, the bank, if you like, of Loch Essamere and its river coming from those mountains. Got into the foothills, and it is there that we begin our session, as we are just about to take a long rest. So, anything anybody wants to do before we take that long rest? I know Kirik's taking first watch.
I think we left it. I was reading my lock-picking book because
Okay.
I'm not a very good thief anymore.
Yeah, I was examining my
so
cigars and that was it.
So you spend sort of half an hour to an hour, the both of you, examining various items. Bothrid himself just literally puts his head down and begins snoring. And then after about an hour, we'll say, Andy, you close your book, having sort of started to drop off, and you to turn your head in. Dargon, you put down the cigars, pack them away neatly, making sure they're not going to get damaged at all. And you two rest your head and lay down. And it is with that, Ander and Dargon, I need you to remove your headphones.
What's happening here? Ooh. Oh, me.
Yep.
He has removed them, I can promise.
Yeah, no, that's all good. It's all good. So, Kirik, as you notice your allies fall asleep and all becomes quiet, the night is still around you. It's a relatively clear night. Sort of a half moon shines down, stars. There's enough light to make out sort of the silhouettes and shapes and a sort of few dying embers of the fire. With the two rolls that I asked you to make earlier, your stealth and sleight of hand, you manage to sort of sneak your way across the camp to where Dargon rests, and you notice the bag of holding next to him, and with your sleight of hand check you are able to just gently move it away from Dargon. And what is it you wish to do?
I want to open it and take out the sword the Ander had that we
Cool. So as you
removed the curse.
reach over the bag, the hilt almost instantly finds its way into your hand and you draw the blade out. No longer sort of a blackish metal, but rather a dulled steel, sort of a bronzish hilt with wrapped leather around it and a ruby-like gem at the top of the hilt, where as you look, the crack that had formed has begun to close slightly.
Interesting. I will put the bag of holding as close as I can possibly do where it was, next to Dargon. And I will then move on to my watch post and
Okay.
just put the sword down and make some notes about it, like
Okay.
any iconography that I find in there. I'll definitely make a note that the gem is closing, because that is important.
Okay. Make me an investigation check, please.
Investigation. 11.
Okay. As you sort of flip the blade over and look at it, there's no other runes or symbols on the blade at all. Not that you notice. It just appears now to be almost a simple longsword, the only defining feature really being that ruby that sits at the top of the hilt.
I will kind of place it on my bag, not bag of holding. The
Handy haversack.
handy haversack, yeah. I'll place it on the main kind of section of it.
Main compartment. So as you place the sword in, I'm assuming it, at this point it vanishes into the pocket dimension. You close the bag up and all is well.
Oh, yeah. And I will spend the kind of final couple of hours of my watch taking out the collection of bones that I bought in Seameat.
Yeah.
And I will make small kind of carvings in it, mostly symbols related to the Raven Queen, and also related to kind of Heim. And I'll make small indentations. I will make a kind of I'll basically start working on them, making small symbols, indentations for a later time. I only have a small knife, so I'm going to assume that takes quite a long time to do, and I can't proceed to.
Yeah, so because you are cutting into bone, it takes you a while to get sort of the symbols right, and it's hard work. You almost have to hold the blade very finely and being sure not to cut yourself, but you do manage to get a couple of the bones done before you two find yourself sort of getting sleepy. And with that, I'll give them the thumbs up. And we can return.
Didn't take that long.
Good. No, it didn't take that long.
No, doggone sleeping.
That's true.
Cool.
Who
are you waking up?
Probably Dargon.
Okay. So you go back over and sort of gently nudge Dargon awake.
Dawnbringer.
And you yourself.
It's your watch, my friend. Go to
Oh,
sleep.
lovely. Hang on. Nighty night.
No.
Cool. So Dargon, as I've just said to Kirik, the night is actually quite a clear night. There's still the crisp winter feeling on the air, but there's very few clouds in the sky. There's a half moon and sort of the starlight. There's the dying embers of the fire, but not much else going on. You can roughly see the silhouettes and the outlines of the features around you. You can see the mountains sort of up above you. Anything particularly you would like to do during your time on your watch?
Don't think there's gonna be much that I end up doing. I would say that I will just sit, look out, mull over the fact I'm not going to keep asking. I'm just going to be hopeful in my mind that it's one of those things. The time that I need Dawnbringers when she's going to return, but that time's going to be dire. So it's one of those ones of not trying to wish something heavy on us, but going, yeah. Much as this rapier is, is it rapier or scimitar? Scimitar. The scimitar is good. Love what Kirik did to it. It's like he's missing Dawnbringer quite a lot. Wants to be vanquishing those undead as they were before. So yeah, just going to be sitting and thinking about that. But I would say, especially now it's night, grateful that he is now supported in some way and is in fighting in the god's name. Quite happy with that.
Cool.
So just wants to
Maybe
look
a
out.
perception check, please.
Lovely. Come on, dice. What's my perception? It's over there. Oh, natural 20 for a 23.
Okay. As you do sit and mull this over and you're on your watch, you see around you there are various creatures that come out. None seem to get close enough to the camp to really threaten you or offer any risk to you or the party. And you just sort of see a couple of rabbits, maybe a hedgehog, certainly a badger, and then a couple of owls and bats sort of fly around in the night. And your watch ends as you then go to wake up.
I'm going to wake up Ander because I think that Bothrid needs a good sleep after everything that's happened to him recently. Hey, buddy, wake
So you
up.
go and nudge.
Okay, I'm up.
All yours. Nothing happened.
I feel like I've been asleep for 2 seconds.
Yeah. But
Right.
also, don't go chasing after some balls
Ready.
or anything like you did last time, will you?
Well, that's fine now. I've not got a magical demon sword with a bloodlust, so
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
forgot
happy
about
just
that.
to chill by the fire. To be honest with you,
I thought that was just you.
I'll just twiddle my thumbs and tickle my balls.
Well, as long as it's only your balls. Nighty night.
Okay, so Dargo retreats back to his pack and his sort of bedroll area and just begins to snore loudly. And as you will have heard, obviously, clear night, embers of the fire. Are you stoking the fire just to sort of make it a bit more ablaze and keep you warm?
Yeah, I feel the cold, me. I'm a bit nesh, yeah.
Okay, so bit nesh for all those international listeners, that's cold.
That means I feel the cold, yeah. I live up north now, in the north of England. This is actually thieves' camp for
I didn't understand what
boy.
Yeah, I didn't understand what nesh meant until I met my wife, so...
Yeah, we're both married northerners, and they are...
We did.
Salt of the earth type folk, but they speak their own language. They speak thieves' camp.
We married women.
I am not touching that with a
barge
pole.
Ladies that lived all of 10 minutes apart when they were growing up, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, cool. Anything particular you would like to do while you are feeding the fire and sort of sat using its light to just sort of peer out, you being one of the few without any dark vision?
No, having let the team down quite a bit in recent past in terms of with the sword and the actions, I want to try and be extra vigilant and be extra good on this watch, because I'm pretty shit at being on watch.
Okay. Roll me a perception check, please.
That was very nearly a 1. 22.
22, yeah. So, like Dargon before you, you look out, and even with the sort of the flames of the fire creating the odd shadow which sort of catches your eye every now and again, and you are apprehensive, you're tense because you don't want to let people down again. You see very little movement. Creatures that do move around don't seem to come much closer to you, obviously now, especially with the fire burning. They don't want to get too near you at all. There's the odd moth or bug that sort of flies around the fire and dances around the shoots of flame as they disappear into the sky. But other than that, your watch passes uneventfully.
Good.
As you then go over to Bothrid and just sort of nudge him awake.
Give him a little nudge, yeah. Bothrid,
Oh.
it's your watch, my friend.
Yes.
Time for your watch.
Okay. Bothrid sort of gets up, sees that you've had the fire, sort of goes over to sit next to it, pulls out a turkey leg which he'd nicked from the tavern, and just sort of sits there, begins to bite into it. Sort of looks around, sits quietly. Nothing happens for now. Do your checks. Okay. Bothrid sits there, and now he's sort of rested, and the sun's just beginning to peep over the horizon, and he's sort of sat there just playing around with his druid craft, creating some flowers, creating some vines, and he gets a bit lost in this for a second, and as he looks up, there is a single wolf in front of him now that's got curious, especially with the smell of meat on the air. Bothrid then casts, in fact he doesn't cast, he just looks dead into the wolf's eyes and quietly, not that the rest of you can hear, "Can offer you meat, friend, but no enemies here." With that he strips off some of the turkey from the turkey leg and throws it out. And the wolf sort of sniffs at it for a minute. bites into it, sort of takes it away nervously. And sort of 10 minutes pass, and then the wolf comes back again and sort of just sits by the fire, waiting at Bothrid. Bothrid chuckles. Here. He throws the whole leg. And not that the rest of you would hear it, but in Bothrid's mind, at least, he is able to understand the wolf's body language. And the wolf says, "Thank you for this. Be careful on the road." And the wolf disappears. And the sun begins to peep over the horizon a bit more. Light begins to fill the campsite. And with this all, you all begin to stir.
I thought Bothrid was going to get hit for a second there.
Yeah, me too. I was like,
"Ooh,
familiar!"
Nah, he's not got that spell.
Dargon wakes up, looks over at the sun. Paylor guide our way today. We want to finally make it to the keep. You up yet, Under?
Yes, I'm awake. Just stop trying to convert me to your religion.
I'm not. Get it?
I'm up. Yeah. I'll be cooking breakfast for people.
Cool. So you make
that's why you're my best
a bit of
friend.
breakfast. Bothrid sort of holds his hand up. Have eaten. Well, have fed wildlife, but have eaten.
Oh. What wildlife did you feed, Bothrid?
Think attracted wolf with turkey leg. Luckily, new magic. Able to talk.
Okay.
Good.
Good. Thank you, Bothrid.
So
Said be careful on road.
What the wolf did?
Not
What?
sure what I mean. Yes, wolf said be careful on road. Don't know what road. Don't see road.
Okay.
To be honest, we've got to be careful everywhere. We're bloody cursed, it seems. Although I actually was cursed, no pun intended. It feels like we're doomed to fail to some degree. So
you have also been dead and came back.
that is true. Yes.
Don't forget that.
Should be
Yes.
thankful. Be happy, Ander. Be happy.
Yeah. Kirik won't let you forget that.
So not only have I died, I've been cursed. And let's not forget, it doesn't get mentioned a lot, and I try not to rub it in. But I am a secret king. I'm technically royalty.
That is also
You can show me more respect.
It's also true.
Dargon bends down and sort of moves his hand in front of him and, like, you know, and bows and goes, "My liege." And as he comes back up, he slaps him in the face.
Just because you beat me at one arm wrestling does
my
not mean...
apologies, my liege.
I'll make you my jester when I'm king.
Oh, I tell funny jokes.
Do we tell the Malt Masters this? I've been thinking this. I know we need to tell them.
What,
We need to tell them everything.
Oh, do you mean you want me to go in? You want them to get the red carpet? You want to do the fanfare? You know, I can go in. You can walk in, all fancy.
I just don't know how much I want to play our cards close to our chest.
I mean, we've discussed yesterday that they seem to have not been fully honest with you, so I think we can at least get some answers from them before we reveal the results of our journey so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we know them all too well. They've been very kind to us while we were here. But again, they pulled us here to try and do something. So yeah, I'm feeling like I want to be a little cagey. But I also don't think it's wise to hide too much from them. They, after all, may be able to piece a lot together as they've been here a while.
It's more a lie of omission rather than a blatant, barefaced lie, if you know what I mean. We just list that bit out for now.
It's quite a big bit, so is there any way we can intimate that, maybe ask them, is the bloodline of one of them involved or needs to be, and where would we find them? Not necessarily asking that we know where to find one.
Yes. I mean, no, they already probably bloody know. And that's the whole reason they brought us here. We shall see.
Well, that's a very interesting one. I mean, they pulled us through. Now, did they do that because we helped them in the past with the horsemen? Or are they actually directly knowledgeable of the reason why we seem to be somewhat connected to this prophecy and why they brought us through? That is a question I would like answered.
No. Definitely be interesting to know why. Well, why you and why myself? I guess I was pulled from.
Yeah.
By them as well.
But also, wasn't it that Ironforge we got a little more information that, again, sounded sort of like it suddenly was more than the two of us?
That's the strange thing. It seems like the prophecy changes with our actions. So I'm not sure if it will change again.
And was it the Malt Masters who brought Kirik through?
Maybe. That could be our first question. Because obviously they're going to be like, who's this guy? But if they already know who he is, that...
Yes. Well, they may well know about Kirik now because Nathan has presumably already made it back and discussed the fact that we are making our return, albeit delayed.
True. Yeah. Okay.
How long do you think we're going to take to get there? Another day's travel, perhaps?
Shall I get the map out?
Get the map out.
Yes, good call.
Oh yeah, that's probably like a day, isn't it?
Yes.
Or two, actually.
So yeah, is it for 4 or 6 hexagons? I can never remember.
I believe it's 4.
I think it was 4, yeah.
That looks like 2 days. 4. So I think we're going to be camping in the mountains. Do we want to follow the river?
We can soldier on.
I'd quite like to sleep before we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to turn up fresh and on the ball. Yes.
Yeah, just so I could
Plus
have some spells prepared.
Plus Dargon, you'll being a mountain man, you'll know the best place to take refuge for the night.
Yeah, if we can...
You'll know if it's safe to continue or not.
If we can cut into the mountains as best we can, yeah, we should be able to find some hideaway.
We bought our new warm clothes, so we should be able to.
Yeah,
yes.
You boys won't get frigid now.
I've never been frigid.
Hey.
Should we press on?
Cool. With that,
before we go, my friends, I will
on.
just... before we go, I will say... Path might be... Knowing our luck, the path might be a treacherous one, so... I hope this helps, and I will grab my holy symbol, and a wave of like warm air will go over Bothrid and Dargon as I cast the 3rd level aid. So, plus 10 hit points to everyone.
Nice,
but not you.
Not me.
Not.
I'm
you.
good though.
Okay. So,
Nice.
83 for Bothrid.
Yeah, gotta remember to update my own in a minute. Just while I do these. And...
Going on triple digits.
Do I put it in temp, yeah? No, I can't remember. It's a modifier, isn't it? It's
Max
modifier.
HP
Yes,
modifier.
yeah.
Max pace override, yeah.
Yeah, there we go, got it.
Yeah, it's not temporary.
Just don't know why it doesn't update.
Press enter.
Oh, yeah. What the hell did I just press enter on then? There. Wrong computer. Hey! Get there in the end. That puts me over 100. Woo!
That'll last for 8 hours, so...
Beautiful.
Nice.
And I will turn to... in fact, we shall return... Let's return to that one. Turn to Bothrid. Well, Bothrid, if you've had warning, do you want to go first or shall I?
We'll lead way.
Very kind. In that case, I shall take the rear.
I'll go second.
I'm not bothered.
Okay.
I'll try to help Bothrid
So-
with perception checks or survival or something.
No worries. So you begin to make your way through the foothills and eventually sort of reach the rockier, mountainous path now. Although it's not a clear-cut path. Going this way, there is a little bit of a valley, if you like, between two legs of the mountains. And eventually you begin to sort of find your way having to climb, crawl a little bit, scramble up sort of the low mountains and eventually find a sort of almost like a goat path type natural path, not a man-made path at all, but it's a bit precarious. Takes you a little bit longer than you'd like to navigate. Probably by around mid-afternoon at this point, having stopped off for a little bit of lunch, you do then find yourself coming out into sort of an open plain a little bit, not quite a plain, but a bit of a flat top on the mountain, and at this point I need you all to make perception checks for me.
I thought you were going to say initiative then. I was like, fucking hell. Straight in.
I was like, oh no! 12.
I don't think I even noticed the sky is blue with a 7.
25.
25.
Show off.
Plus 8 modifier.
Bothrid got, when I remember what I'm doing, Bothrid got 12. So most of the party just sort of begin to move on to this sort of flattish bit of at the top of one of the mountains, or the top of one of the lower mountains, almost like a ridge line now. Kirik, something on the horizon catches your eye. Something like a little bit of a black speck, just sort of flying, clearly flying along the ridge line and turning ahead of you, and sort of just coming around.
Is it coming in our direction?
Doesn't seem to be coming in your direction. It seems to have almost flown sort of right to left at some distance, fairly high up in the sky.
You guys see that? And I
See what?
point towards.
See,
I point
Nope,
towards.
sorry.
Or,
I was daydreaming, sorry.
and as
And
Kirik points this out, you too now see this black speck at that distance, much too large to be a bird, but other than that, difficult to discern what it really is.
Does it look similar
On
to
that
those
face,
winged
it.
creatures who attacked us previously when we were in the mountains?
Again, at this distance, it almost seems too big to be one of them.
Hey, Ando,
So it's worse.
you know, you fought a dragon nearby these mountains, didn't you?
Yes, a baby green one. This looks a lot bigger.
Well, that's a long way away, isn't it?
So if it looks big a long way away, it's going to be fucking huge up close.
That's a good point. Not good with numbers.
should we perhaps try to stay hidden as best as we can. Perhaps, Dargon, if you could indicate us the best way to travel here.
Yeah, let me see.
Make me a survival check, please.
Okay.
Could I assist on that?
Please do.
Absolutely.
I'll just go invisible and leave you fuckers to it, I think. No, I'm okay.
Sounds in character.
18.
18.
Yeah.
So you sort of manage, you realise the immediate sort of vicinity. There is very little in terms of cover. However, about 500 metres in front, there's sort of some trees begin to grow over the path a little bit, and it looks like you could probably navigate your way through, not quite a forest, but just like a little thicket of woods, maybe hide under there for a little bit. Initially.
Yeah. Let's go over here then, boys. Let's see if we can hide out the way. And follow me. Get down when we get there. Let's see if we can let this thing pass.
I shall follow Dargon's lead.
So you all manage to sort of hurriedly make your way across. And then...
Important thing to remember, boys. When we're on top of a mountain, your silhouette is the most obviously seen. Try and make it look jagged or hunker down. Try and make sure that we don't look obvious on the top of this mountain. This is how you do it.
It's good to know.
Cool. Just making sure my connection is stable now. I had a bit of an issue.
You having a bit of a moment then?
I was
That's
having
good
a bit of a
advice,
moment.
that.
So you do sort of manage to
So I
scarp
stand
your way
like a
across.
cactus.
As you get into the thicket of trees, I need everybody to make me a stealth check with advantage.
Okay,
So if I
guess
have
we
advantage
roll
on stealth
three.
check, can I roll 4 times?
If you already have a stealth, then no, it's just
However,
your advantage.
I have a disadvantage on stealth, so I roll once.
Which means you get a normal roll. Yeah.
Yeah, same to me.
Oh,
Even with advantage, I roll
motherfucker.
toss. I rolled a 1 and a 7, so 13 for me. That's my highest.
Bothrick got 12.
3.
I've got
9.
I've got +6 in all.
Oh dear.
I'm the worst rogue ever.
Have you not got?
got
Oh no,
3?
because you've multi-classed. Yeah.
What,
Did you say you
No,
got
Dargon got 3.
I got
Dargon got
13.
Yeah, I got 3.
13. So, as you all sort of dive into this thicket and begin to hide, you then just hear this sort of, not quite a roar, not quite a screech, but more of a... as this huge, great winged beast just over the trees ahead of you. And you see the face peer down, and then it banks off to the right, and you hear the beating of the wings lands on the plains behind you. And at this point, Dargon, as you look behind you, you see the eyes look directly at you.
I stayed completely motionless for a second.
So make me another stealth check, please. This time with disadvantage, where you get disadvantage anyway.
Yeah.
You're
10.
doing that thing that spiders do, where we've seen you, but you stay still anyway and hope for the best.
Has he seen me? I don't know. Without
And
trying to
with
move
a
my face, I'm like,
23,
yep. I
with a
think
23, the creature just
he's seen
begins to
me.
make its way forward.
Oh shit.
What do we do?
Oh boy.
How we're in this tree thicket. Does it look like it's going to find it difficult getting into this this thicket of trees?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I think we stay here. At least we're not going to get picked off. We fight it.
Do you want me to cause a distraction and then we make a run for it?
Look, either from our walk or from looking around, do we see that there's anything else we can run to that's within distance of this thicket or not?
So the only thing that you guys see at this point is obviously the plain now behind you, technically, where you've just come from, and there is another small goat path that leads out of this thicket, but you can see that leads onto bare mountainous ridge.
I think we fight here, guys.
I see the creature.
Yes.
Do I know what it is?
Make me a nature check, please.
18.
So with an 18, yes. You've experienced these creatures before. You've seen them. It looks very similar to a dragon in the fact that it has two scaly legs, but then rather than a second pair of legs, the arms extend out into these huge, great leathery wings. Its tail whips about behind it, and as it whips around, you see this stinger. And
Oh, fuck.
you recognise it as the cousin of the great dragons. You know it to be a wyvern.
Boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
You look scared. What is it?
We should probably lose this thing.
Well, this is the only place which it will struggle to get into. Otherwise, we are free pickings out there. We get lobbed off the side of the mountain.
It's true. Boy, oh boy.
What do we do?
What a pickle.
I mean, we've killed a dragon before. If we have the element, do we have the element of surprise? No, we do not have the element of surprise.
How far away is it?
From where you are, it's probably a good 40 or 50 feet.
Alright. Anna, can you become hidden?
My plan. Right, hear me out. I was going to turn invisible, go quite far away from us, place one of the sending stones in the. Oh, but then if I shout down one of the sending stones, it'll hear me at both ends of the sending stone because I'll be shouting. That won't work. Or I go really far away, do a thunderclap. It'll then come to where I am. I'll sneak off while you guys run. Obviously, I'm invisible, so it won't see me. It'll hear the noise. And either be scared by the noise or come to the noise.
Perhaps. Matt, does Kirik know if... Oh, well, do I know, because I don't know this, if this creature has the same tendencies as a dragon to enjoy treasure and hoard it?
Ooh. Good call.
You know that although they are more cunning than sort of most beasts, they don't have the same intelligence of true dragons or great dragons. They tend to very much hunt on prey. They're not very much interested in material objects.
Okay.
Okay.
If we don't make a decision very shortly,
not.
I am.
Then yeah,
Gonna
so they're
attack.
certainly not intelligent to the point where they can
Be reasoned with.
communicate like a dragon would.
Okay. So in that case, then, if I just cast Dissonant Whisper on it, it'll just be frightened and have to fly away.
For 1 round.
Works.
Gives a chance to run.
For 30 feet.
I mean, I could try to.
I don't have to
command
outrun
it.
the dragon, Dagon. I just have to outrun you.
I'm a bomb technician. If you see me running,
Try and keep up. I'm gonna remember that, Ander.
I'm joking. Bother is slower than you.
Hey, it's alright.
Bothered. Can you turn into a wyvern? Scare it off.
no.
Can you talk to it?
Don't think so. Not right type of animal.
You don't have any good ideas, boys. I'm firing something right now.
Yeah, our options are thin. It's either fight and die or run and die. And I would rather fight and die. I'm with you, Dag. I'm looking at you. I'm looking in your eyes. I'm seeing the look in your eyes. And all of a sudden I'm with you.
I pull out my sword, point it towards...
I will touch
Tuck it and run.
and I will cast Warding Bond if this is going to happen.
And I fire Sacred Flame at it.
Let's go down together.
Okay, so
Look at Kieran's face.
pause
This is
just
my
a
favourite thing
second.
of playing D&D is Samal's face every time we do something stupid.
Yeah,
If we
it's
pause
great.
that all for a second, just give me it. Sorry, yeah, what are you going to say?
And your AC and your saving throws have gone up by 1, and you have resistance to all damage now.
Might not make a difference.
I also looked into this. If you use what's it called your escape thing ability,
Evasion.
yeah, the one when if you're like hit by an attack, you get
Yeah,
you
if I can
half
make
the
a
damage.
dex saving throw, I can use evasion to take no damage at all. Yeah, or uncanny dodge to half any damage.
Uncanny dodge. That's the one. That's the one. Well, on both of those, I only get the damage that you get, so I don't get like the full
Nice.
damage. So yeah,
Cool.
so Warding Bond is quite good for rogues. What's your AC at? With that +1.
19 now. Oh, 18. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
How long's that last
The
for?
White Lord didn't save.
Warding Bond, 1 hour,
Nice.
and it is not concentration either.
Even better. Because you will be distracted by a big winged bastard.
Yeah.
Right, so you've chucked Sacred Flame at the bugger then. This game on.
I will do in a minute. As soon as
Oh boy.
DM says I'm loud. I hope I get that in before initiative anyway. It won't be surprise hit,
Yeah, that's true.
but that's why I was wondering whether Ander could go invisible, therefore end up flanking it without realising.
Oh, we're here now.
Yeah, we are.
I'm assuming you say that to me as you throw the Sacred Flame thing. So,
I was asking you before.
That's actually the
I
verbal
could.
component of the spell.
yeah.
Okay, so with that, I need initiative rolls.
Oh boy.
I am invisible,
Oh,
as
no.
per Dagon's request.
Can I get my Sacred Flame out beforehand?
We'll do that in a second.
Okay,
Just
cool.
roll initiative for me.
Yeah. 16.
16 for Dagon.
F4.
4 for
Four?
Kirik.
For Kirik, sorry.
Thanks for coming. 23.
Nice. Bothrid gets a natural 20, which will be 20. Cool. So, as not quite a surprise round, but a quick round, Ander throws his hood up as Dargon reaches out a hand. What's the range on Sacred Flame?
60 feet, hence I was asking.
Nice. Cool. So, what needs to be done?
Sacred Flame is a Dex 12 save, please. Please don't save.
A Dex 12 save.
Pretty low.
Gets an 11.
Oh, yes!
Wow.
Sacred Flame never works! So, that is... Oh my god, I mean, I'm so shocked.
He's never got to use it before.
10 points... Shut up. 10 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
Yep.
Happy with that. Let's just double check. Yeah, happy days. That's it.
10 points of radiant damage.
Yeah.
And as you do that, and as the Sacred Flame sort of, you see the golden glow around the wyvern, it just shoots off into the sky. And just sort of hovers in the air where it is for now. So, with that, Ander, we are over to you. You are currently invisible.
That's fucked my plan if it's up in the sky.
You got some range stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, but I've got a Dragon Slayer Rapier which I can't use now because it's not on the ground.
Not a natural dragon, is it?
It counts against wyverns as well, because it counts against any dragon type, including dragonborn, dragon turtles, wyverns,
Happy days.
etc.
Happy days.
Not if it's flying, not if I can't reach the bugger. So, I can still sneak attack it, I suppose. So I will use my bonus cunning action to dash up underneath it. Oh no, but then I'm going to become visible as soon as I do something.
Go behind it.
No. Yes. No. If I dash 60 feet, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Yeah, I can end up behind it. So I will be just up underneath it a little bit towards its arse end. Before I take aim,
20,
do I have time to determine whether I spot any weak spots or vulnerabilities on the animal?
Make me a nature check.
Uh, 10.
Nope. You spot no particular
Nope.
weak points at all.
I will sneak attack him with my short bow, so I've got some magical arrows left which have a +1 to hit. So what I'll do, I'll aim for its sort of underbelly region, you know, like between the belly button and where the genitals would be. I assume that would be the softest bit with my shit checks. That's what I'm going for. With a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
4, 7 piercing damage,
Yep.
and then with the sneak attack, an additional 16.
16 damage. So you dash, and the rest of you see nothing other than just this sort of wind. As then out in the sort of the clearing, you see Ander throw his hood back, turn with the short bow, aim up, and strike true into the underbelly of the wyvern as it then just rears up in the sky and begins to turn.
I've technically still got 30 feet left, but there's no point moving. If I move anywhere, it's going to see me and find me, isn't it? So
You're visible.
I'm invisible, so I'm shafted now. So I've done it now. I'm happy with that. See you guys later.
Have you got no?
Cool.
You got no bonus action to become invisible again?
He used his bonus action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can move 30 feet still, but it can see me now, so it's a bit redundant.
Indeed.
I'll still be within range.
Bothrid is going to, from where he is, just hold out a hand and cast Entangle.
Oh, lovely.
So the wyvern needs to make a strength saving throw.
Does a tangle pull stuff to the ground as well? That'd be cool.
Oh, cock.
Nope.
The wyvern rolled a natural 20. So you see these sort of bonds of golden energy reach up from the floor and sort of wrap themselves around the wyvern, who then just flexes its wings and just the golden bonds almost shatter like glass. And you just hear sort of a from Bothrid as he then goes, fine, and rages.
Woo!
Yeah, go on.
Bothrid would like
Fuck 'em
to
up,
rage.
And that is going to be Bothrid's go. He's not going to move for now. In fact, no, he is going to move because Ander is out there. So Bothrid is going to move. Oh, not the whole lot.
Hey.
Easy target. Just that one. Are you going to make me move the whole lot? Fine, fuck you then. Fucking whiteboard, man.
Bothrid's dead now.
Right. There's the 10. Up there, that's where Bothrid was. Image.
Bothrid's huge now.
Bothrid
He got big when he rages.
has the enlarge spell on him.
So Bothrid's going to run up to there, and then we're just going to add some trees in.
Sweet.
Oh, come on, fuck's sake. Teams. Oh, not even teams, whiteboard. There we go.
Nice.
So with that, it is then Dargon's turn.
Okay.
Oh wow, it rolled low then. The white one.
Nice.
Got a 16, so the same as
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Dargon.
And as my dex is higher, I'm guessing that's why I'm going first. Sorry. Right. Why have I not used this yet? What's going on with it? Oh, because it's just a hit. Lovely. Right. A guiding bolt, please.
Yeah, hang on. Apparently I've got to add your character token back in as well.
Right.
Fighting bolt.
Which, if, and it's a very big if, because I keep getting Sacred Flame and this one mixed up, but it's fine because both of them are cool. You will get advantage on your next attack.
What, the wyvern will?
Okay.
No, Kirik. Or whoever is next. So
Yeah. Well, if you hit, I might save that for.
if you miss, it just moves on to the next person until the end of the round. So the next hit
Yeah.
gets advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dargon. I've got you there.
Yeah, so I'm going to do Guiding Bolt. I will move a little further forwards if I can't see him, just so that I'm on the edge of the...
5, 10, 15, 20. Push you there.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fine.
25.
Want to know that I can get back in, so let's do 20 and I'll go back 10 afterwards. Potentially.
Okay, so 20 there.
Okay. Oh,
Do you think, Kristen, got any
nutcracker
bolts?
sweet. 8.
Will miss. So you see Dargon sort of reach forward with his hand, and just this golden bolt just as the wyvern just sort of ducks one of its wings and dodges out the way.
Completely miss. I'm going to move 10 feet further forward, so I'm next to Bothrid. Come down here and fight, you ugly little fucker.
Cool. The wyvern then is going to turn, and as it turns, it's going to swing its tail down towards you and try and hit you with its stinger. That will be a 25 to hit.
Yeah, definitely hits.
Boy. Oh boy.
So I need you to take 12 points of piercing damage, and I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
I'll uncanny dodge it, obviously. So it's only
Okay,
6.
so 6 points of piercing
So
damage.
it's actually 3 because you've got resistance to all damage.
Yes, and that, thank you. And then, so Kirik takes that as well. And then a con saving throw, you say?
Yeah.
Which have a plus
I
1.
rolled a 1.
One.
I rolled a 1.
Oh.
So 2.
That's double damage, I'm afraid, because
I was
that's a
about to
critical
say
fail.
natural.
on the save.
Not only are you
So
poisoned,
you then take... Wow, that was loud. 43 points of poison damage. However, that will be reduced thanks to your resistance to all damage, I believe. So
Yep.
that will be 22 points of damage.
Oh,
Poison damage.
Fuck.
As the
So it
stinger
wasn't 40,
just
huh?
swings down and catches you straight in the torso, almost like full Shelob. And oh my god, Lord of the Rings, you can shoot me later, internet. Frodo mode, as it just punctures straight into your abdomen, withdraws it, and then goes to make a claw attack against you as well.
Oh, brilliant. I've made a great choice.
boy.
Or that will be an 11 to hit.
Yes. Miss.
Cool. And with that, the woman is then going to fly 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 over to here.
oh blimey.
Kirik.
Well, that kind of changes things. Okay. I'm on 48 hit points, Dave, by the way.
Oh Christ! I forgot you talked to them as well. God.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. You feeling that was a good idea yet?
Sure.
To be fair, Andrew would be out. So.
I'm going to... How far away am I? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet. Okay. I'm going to move kind of 5 feet southeast. Yeah, good luck. Sure. Glorious.
Kirik smash.
So 5 feet southeast.
Yep.
Another 5. Let's do that.
So you're playing countdown.
And then
These,
10
there's
feet
still
to
trees
the
all around here for the sake of it.
yeah, 10 feet to the right.
10.
And I'm going to look at the dragon, or the wyvern, and I'm going to attempt to cast command.
Now we're talking.
Okay.
That is a wisdom saving throw.
Imagine arriving to the Malt Masters Keep on a wyvern taxi.
That is a 9.
That fails. My command is land.
And you can see the sort of the wyvern just and it just lands. Its sort of 2 hind legs dig into the floor as its winged arms just into the floor, and it just looks.
It actually only does the command on its next turn.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So it's still
So
up.
for now
But
it's
I
up.
believe that's.
Yeah.
I believe that's all it can do on its next turn. I'll double check. And I don't have any bonus actions that I can do, so. Yeah.
Okay, so command.
I can double check if you want to carry on.
Yeah, if you don't mind, that would be good.
Yep. Yeah.
So to me, it's still up in the air then.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought. Yep. Read spells, people. I didn't.
That's a good one. Good one. It still works, and it'll still get us in range.
It'll be really good on my next turn.
How high is it in the moment, then?
so it's gone, where did we say? We said 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And then probably went about 20-ish feet in the air.
Cool, alright.
So it's within 60 feet of me. Upward angle.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 20. Yeah.
Okay. I will use. I've got the Toll the Dead cantrip, so I'm going to use that. And because it's took damage already, it's 2d12.
Okay.
It will land and end its turn there.
Okay.
Okay. So
So-
you need to roll to hit first with Toll the Dead, don't you? Or is it a save?
No, it's a Wisdom 13 for me.
Raise 13. Gets a 10.
Yes.
Boy. 2d12.
So that is 22 points of necrotic damage.
Damn, you
So
rolled
you
well.
see the sort of the skin on the creature ripple and wither as it lets out another. Sort of tosses its head around, the tail whips around. Anything else you wish to do on your turn?
I was thinking of using cunning action to hide, but I'm not close enough to anywhere to hide. They're out in the open, so I can't really do that. So I will. That'll be me done. Oh no! I will move.
Okay.
I will move actually towards the group, so I'm like next to Buffred, so I'm not by myself.
10, 15, 20, 25.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool. And as you now look at the wyvern, you can see that it looks like there's blood trickling out of his ears and out of the mouth. Consider this creature bloodied. Buffred,
Red.
as he's raging, is going to... What is he going to do? I just need to check something.
Kirik, have you communicated the fact that you have managed to do this? Do we know that you've managed to do this? Is it going to come down? Do we know?
I said it in common, so.
Do we know it hit?
You probably don't,
The
actually.
minute. No, you wouldn't.
Okay.
We just think he's really
Buffred,
ballsy
as
and he's
he's
just
raging.
told a wyvern to land and we have no idea why.
It was.
Yeah, because you've never seen me cast this spell either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very good point. It was one of those ones of like, do I prepare myself for being near it when it lands, or do I assume it's going to stay fucking flying? Which is what I'm going to do, because that's what he thinks.
So Buffer can't cast any spells because he's raging, so instead he's going to pull out his longbow. Fires once. 23 to hit, which will hit.
Nice.
Does maximum damage, 10 damage, and then pulls back another arrow and lets loose. Hits again for an unnatural 20 for 5 points of damage, so 15 points of damage total as these 2 arrows just strike into the wyvern.
Some good roll in there.
And that is going to be him. Dargon.
Not thinking this thing's going to land anytime soon. Going to try another distance spell, so not going to stay... I'll move 5 feet up just so that I'm next to Botherid. And I will use Guiding Bolt again in the hopes that something fucking happens. Oh! 22.
Nice.
That'll hit.
Okay. 8, 9, 10... 16... Yeah, 16 points of damage. Radiant damage. And... Sorry, let's cast that. Yes, it is now. Advantage on the next attack roll.
Is it the next attack roll or the next attack?
On a hit, the target takes 4
sorry,
decisions. No, just double checking. And the next attack roll made against this target before the end of your turn has advantage.
Next attack roll.
It doesn't say that hits though, so is it just literally the next attack roll?
It's just the attack roll. They get advantage. Well, you don't get advantage on a hit, do you? If it hits, it hits.
Yeah, it was more the fact that if you rolled twice, didn't hit it. Does that so if Kirik rolled with advantage, so it would move on then to Ander and then Botherid, yeah? Oh, brilliant.
No. It's just that first attack roll.
Yeah. So if Kirik misses on an advantage, it still disappears.
That's it. It's done.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. No, just so I understand.
So with anything else you're doing on your turn?
Yes, I am. Hang on a minute. I'm going to move up to next to Kirik. Diagonally up. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, done.
That's it. I'm good.
Cool. And with that, the wyvern just his eyes closed for a second, sort of a low guttural growl, and it lands as before. Its 2 winged arms pound into the floor, and it just stares at you all. And that will be its go. As Kirik, you are up.
Well, that worked, and then I will focus on the necrotic energy granted by the Raven Queen, and I will cast Toll the Dead on it. Wisdom 16, please.
11.
That's 2d12 plus 5. 26 points of necrotic damage.
Nice.
How do you want to do this?
Oh!
Yeah.
So seeing it land, I will look into its eyes, grab onto my holy symbol, and I will kind of just open my hand, and there is a pulse of energy that goes through, and it kind of just starts almost like taking the scales off as it peels through him. And eventually it's just kind of like the skeleton, and then that also crumbles to dust.
Nice.
Beautiful.
As you do, you see just sort of the scales almost flake off into the wind, and the creature sort of almost turns its head and slumps to the ground as the skeleton too begins to wither and disintegrate.
So there's nothing
just
left.
Blows away with the wind. There's a scattering of ash and bone.
Yeah, I just
Dust.
infinity ward it.
I was hoping. I was hoping to steal some poison, but it's
Too late.
gone. It's gone.
Gone.
Gone. And we're out of combat.
Ooh.
That went better than I thought.
I mean, you got pretty
Mind you,
hit.
if I didn't have
It's going to say you
that
got
ward of
really fucked up.
thing, I'd have been dead.
You were. You're right over there, Ender. You look like you took a hit then.
I did, but I think, as per usual, Kirik allowed me to come away relatively okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm in a bit of pain, but could have been a lot worse.
Shall we stop for a bit in these trees? Short bit of time.
Everybody make me a perception check, please.
Ball sack.
Oh, okay.
That's a 23.
13.
Being in a bit of pain, I only got a 6, so I'm not really concentrating on what's around me, obviously.
Okay, so Bothrid and Kirik, as you sort of begin to look around your surroundings now, you see at the far end of the sort of the open area where you've come from, a single wolf that stands there, surveys the area, howls, and then turns and disappears off.
Bothrid, is that your friend from last night?
I think so. Looks same. Strange. Not see wolf do that before.
You haven't seen that before.
No. Wolf wouldn't stay close to big scary dragon monster.
That's a good point, actually.
Have we just cleared out their area?
Did you know what the howl meant? Do you recognise what the wolf was trying to say?
Sounded like shout of triumph, victory.
Alright.
Interesting. Well,
How about we take a short rest, but keep an eye out. Don't want those wolves thinking that they can suddenly have us.
I feel like they're our friends more than a threat. From what Buffett just said, it feels like we've just potentially saved them from a burden or something they were suffering with. So,
Well, I hope so then. Keep an eye out, nonetheless. I will go and sit next to a tree if everyone else is sticking around.
yeah, I can take a short rest.
Yeah?
yes.
Roll some dice.
Okay.
I'm going to use some hit die.
Well, that is officially the first time that I've been able to use a short rest to actually get rid of one of my pack magic spell slots.
Nice.
Which is why I wanted to do a short rest. I was like, oh, I'll give it a go.
From my hit die, I got 18 points back. So I'm back up to 52. That's not too bad.
52, nice. Okay.
If I take health, if I take damage, and that means you take damage, Kirik. If I heal, do you heal? Or does it only work the other way?
Let me know what you're
because
back onto,
I've taken
Life cleric.
That works.
And because
Yeah,
I've taken a short rest, the warding things wore off now. So it's been an hour, isn't it?
Yep. Correct.
Okay.
I'm back to full health.
Whoa, nice.
Bothrid never took any damage, so he's good.
I've used all of my dice.
Gonna get you to a bit more protection there, Ander. You get yourself into quite a lot of scrapes.
It's not like me to jump in head first without thinking it through, is it?
Something I don't do very often. I don't know what happened today.
It's very out of character. But to be fair, this dragon scale armor is actually quite protective and quite strong. But obviously, a wyvern is a wyvern. Oh, do I know it's a wyvern? Did I establish it was a wyvern?
I probably should.
Sure, did you tell the rest of the party?
Yeah, doing a short rest.
Yeah, so that information would have been relayed to you during your short rest.
They were a bit easier than their cousins, that was.
Yes, it seemed to get better than the last time we fought a dragon-type creature.
I don't remember seeing them around our mountains.
Perhaps more questions to ask.
This place is just full of creatures and magical crap happening. We were in Moonbright and some random stuff came out of nowhere. Or just came from another plane, tried to rip us to shreds. And that was in the middle of a civilized area. It's unbelievable.
Curious.
Yeah. Well, if we're all feeling a little
So,
better.
for the sake of brevity, you have your short rest and you sort of discuss the events, a little bit curious about what's gone on. Strange that you've not seen a wyvern before, but then is it strange in the land of Nylon, really? And you continue to make your way, sort of Bothrid, Dargon, Kirik, all using their skills or assisting in those skills to make their way along the mountain pass. And you all sort of eventually just sort of chip in and sort of plan your route as to how you're getting on. Continue travelling for another few hours, and then as the as the sun begins to dip and the moon begins to rise, you all decide to make camp again, knowing it's probably only a day now. You can sort of begin to see, it looks like you may just be able to see sort of the towers of the Malt Masters Keep itself in the distance. So you bed down for the night, you take your watches, very little happens, it's a very quiet night. You wake up in the morning and you plod on. And eventually, after sort of that day and a half's worth of travel after the wyvern attack, with nothing else happening, but a definite bite on the air now, and you do take time to don your cold weather gear, you eventually find yourselves on the outskirts of Glen Tuag, to Ander, Dargon and Bothrid, who know the name of the village, or the town that surrounds the Castle Maltstack and the Malt Masters Keep. And you make your way up through the town towards the gatehouse of Castle Maltstack. So we can change map if we want.
I sure hope we don't get into a fight. I've got nothing. If that happens. Just to let you know.
Have you got like full-on interrogation, FBI, shine a light in their eyes sort of spells?
I've got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
I have changed my spells. No, they're exactly the same. I checked my sword was still alive. And then realised it wasn't alive.
I like how I went like, yeah, full interrogation, but then I've got a spiritual weapon prepared just in case.
Brilliant.
This will be Kirik's first time meeting the Malt Masters, won't it?
Yes.
That's we're walking up. So Kirik, first time you're gonna meet him then?
Yes.
Sure you got just as many questions as I have.
Quite curious.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who sent you on the mission.
I'm sure
And
you'll get on with
potentially
some of
who
them.
sent you on this mission.
Oh yeah.
That's also true.
I liked
It
one
can
of
be
them.
quite
You
cryptic.
There was another one that was really, really up herself, if I remember right. Or maybe she just didn't like us.
Are we in Glen Twag at this point, as Dargon is saying this?
Yeah, so you are walking through Glentow and you can see the actual gatehouse before you that leads into sort of the area of the Malt Masters Keep.
So, Dargon, they've probably got eyes and ears everywhere. Be careful what you say.
And as you step up to the gatehouse, two guards in sort of simplish armour but emblazoned on their chest is the mark of the Malt Masters, and they sort of both stand before you and in typical guard fashion cross their pikes. State your names and business.
Name's Dargon. Part of the Malt Masters Keep, and I show the symbol that we've got.
Very well. Your
And I'm
friends.
there, showing mine like it's a backstage pass.
This is Kirik. This is Bothrid there with us.
No, I remember Bothrid. It's half-orc. What's his business?
He's with us. That's all you need to know.
What's your tone?
Trust us, the
We're
Malt
here, we
Masters
have to
will want to
guard
speak
these.
with him.
Well, maybe so. We have to guard these walls. Can't be letting suspicious folk in. Very well. On your
I
own
already
to be
know.
it. Cool. And they sort of move the pikes aside and allow you to walk through, and you walk through what is the gatehouse, but also the prison, the jail, and you see just a huge sort of cobblestone, if you want to call it, courtyard. It is massive. There's a forest that weaves in and out of the keep itself. Immediately to your right there is a temple, and outside the temple there are statues of multiple different deities. You then see a variety of different buildings. There what looks like there's a tavern, there's a huge great building which Ander and Dargon you know to be the store or Mephisto's magical menagerie. And then as you approach the castle itself, you then see the 4 statues of the Malt Masters. Kirik, you seeing this for the very first time, notice that one statue is of a tiefling, and she smiles, female tiefling, smiling, horns sort of curling up. On one arm is a bird, what looks like an eagle, and around her foot is wrapped a badger. And she also has this sort of crown of vines on her head. The second statue is of a dragonborn, but a very wiry, thin dragonborn with hood pulled up, stood in a very sort of, can't think of the word, but not suspicious, but knowing, almost looking down his nose. In his hands he holds multiple bottles and vials. The next one along is of what you can only describe as a high elf, adorned in long flowing robes, head held high, looking very regal, a circlet on her head, and a wand clutched in her hand. In the other hand, a small book. And then the final statue, probably the most impressive of all, is of a half-orc, similar to yourself, but a huge, heavy-set, muscular half-orc in armour, just encasing his entire body. Across his back is a great axe and a great sword crossed. He has a war pick at his side, a crossbow, a longbow strung across his shoulder as well. There are a number of daggers and hand axes, and there's all manner of weapons and accompaniments on this figure. And he stands with his hands placed in front of him on top of a barrel. And as you walk through these statues, you meet more guards, have a similar discussion with them, and they allow you up. And you enter into Castle Maltstack.
As we go in, I will cast a third level enhance ability, and I will give Anda and Dargon Eagle's Splendor, which is advantage on charisma checks.
Nice.
Nice.
That lasts for an hour, as long as I'm concentrating.
Okay.
Okay. And at the same time, and just after that, I will cast Tongues on myself.
Very well.
Which also lasts for an hour, but isn't concentration.
As you reach the sort of the foot of the ramp up into Castle Maltstack, Bothrid turns. Shall wait here. Wasn't welcome last time. I shall sit among the trees, await your return. Good luck, friends.
I'll meet you there, Bothrid.
Thank you, Bothrid.
Turns and just walks and sits down at the base of one of the trees nearby, and just seems to rest. So you can see him casting little bits of druidcraft as he sits there. And you make your way up again, have another conversation with the guards, and then as you enter the castle itself, and I pull up another map so I can remind myself of the exact layout. Excellent. So you enter through the entrance, and as you enter through the entrance, and Dargon, you are met with the two familiar faces of the two handmaidens, the sisters, Arabelle and Mirabelle. And Dargon, it has been some time. Welcome back.
Yeah, as indeed. And thank you very kindly.
It's good to be home. How have you been?
I see you. We have been well. I see you bring another friend.
Yes, Kirik Gravetusk. Pleasure to meet you.
My name is Arabelle. This is my sister Mirabelle. The pleasure is ours. Will you be needing your rooms?
What time of day is it?
Yes, please.
At this point, it's sort of getting to early evening.
We would.
Yes, we will need a room for our new friend Kirik and also Bothrid. So 4 rooms, please.
Well, we only have the 2 guest rooms. However, you are welcome to take some of the quarters in the keep outside, where Vraco and Johannes stay. by all means, one of the buildings there should suit the four of you if you choose.
I look to the other guys. I think that might be preferable if we all stick together. How about you?
Yep, that'll do me.
In that case, my dear, save us going back there. Might you alert the Malt Masters Keep that we have need of a meeting with them. We shall freshen up from our travels and be back within the hour.
I can certainly do so. Do you wish to wait here, or are you going to return?
In fact, yeah. Shall we go find our lodgings, clean ourselves up and head back here? Looking at the other guys. Or do you want to get this sorted?
I would prefer to get
I'm
this
happy to get
sorted.
out of the way now. Yes.
Fine. Could you get them for us? And
I will.
shall we meet them in the waiting room?
If you wait here, my sister will announce you. I will go and prepare the war room. And they both exit and close the doors. And as they close the doors, you also hear a click as the lock seems to be locked.
Are we back on the outside of the castle, sorry, or?
No, you're just in this entrance area with the sort of the two sofas or two waiting benches. And about 10-15 minutes pass, and you hear sort of hurried footsteps, and Arabelle sort of opens the door again. Yeah, sort of seems out of breath. They are ready. Please follow me. And she leads you through the hall entrance, along the hallways, and you sort of bend round, come down to the south, enter into a room which on the map is described as the whiskey store. And as you enter this room, you just see shelves that are sort of wall to wall, stock full of various bottles of different sizes, different ages, and then you, Dargon and Ander, sort of go up the familiar winding staircase up to the upper levels, and we'll just let the map get shifted, and Arabelle then leads you sort of onto the landing, out through the door, and you can then see the huge great double doors to the war room open. And as you enter, there are 6 people in the room. You see Mirabelle sort of running around the table, placing cups and different flagons on the table. The map of Nylin still in the centre. You see, for the sake of Kirik now, you see the hulking half-orc, adorned in his armour and weapons, sat on the easternmost chair closer to the fire. You see the high elf female sat on the westernmost chair. You see on the southernmost chair the strange, thin, dragonborn figure. And then with her back to you, the tiefling sits in the northernmost chair. And next to the tiefling, you spy some familiar flowing auburn hair. As Thailania draws her chair back, turns, looks at you, walks towards you, grasps your hand, Dargon. It is good to see you alive, friend.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't be seeing us alive. I am so grateful. I'm
Yes,
also
well,
very grateful to see you alive as well. He seemed to be quite the foe.
it was not without cost, but we shall discuss that. Come. I see you bring a new friend, or your friend has come with you, I should say.
I
Please
believe he's been communicating with
seated.
your husband.
He did not communicate with Nathan. It is I who sent the message.
Ah,
And it is I who sent the reply. Nathan is not in a good way.
that is troubling news indeed. Please, tell us
Indeed.
more.
There is much to discuss. Come, sit.
Indeed. Come sit. Friends, I see you bring one of my kin.
This now, the voice of the half-orc speaking.
Greetings, brother. You may know me as the Cooper.
The Cooper?
Yes.
Greetings. My name is Kirik Gravetusk. I have somehow found myself in the midst of Ander and Dargon, and we've been traveling together ever since for a month now? Question mark. About a
Yep.
month.
About a month.
Well met, Kirik. Please sit. You find yourself in fine company indeed.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take a check.
The other three at this point stay silent. As you then seat, and Arabelle and Mirabelle then sort of run around the table, pouring what looks like very fine wine into each of these cups. And then they turn to each of the Malt Masters, bow their heads, exit, and close the doors. And then the High Elf sort of raises her head, speaks. Well, it seems you have been busy. Please, tell us of your exploits this past month.
Before we say a word, is this room protected? And is it that anything we say in here stays here?
Rest assured, young Dargon, this room is protected. This whole keep is protected. What is said in here always stays in here.
Insight check.
Maybe an insight check.
24.
There is no hint of any lie in that whatsoever.
Good.
Would you like to make me an Arcana check?
Oh, yeah, sure. Even better. Not even better, but on the dice is better. 2 seconds. Skills. Arcana. 21.
Mm-hmm.
22, sorry.
So you first you peer at the High Elf figure, and then you look around the room, and as you look around you can now feel the magic of the wards that almost ingrained in the brick walls, the stone walls around here, and even in the wooden floor, even the table, the fireplace itself. There is a strong amount of magic placed in this room.
Cool. Awesome.
I trust we have settled your doubts, Dargon.
You have, and I'm sure that once we start discussing you'll understand my hesitancy for anything to be said that could be heard. I
certainly don't hope you think to mistrust us, Dargon. Not after we have shown you such welcome.
No, it is more the fact that we have all recently met the Dark Eladrin, as I'm sure you're aware, and he is...
We are.
He's a dangerous fellow, and it is more the fact that I would like to make sure that nothing leaves this room and ends up on his ears. So I do not mistrust you, I mistrust him dearly.
You would be well to do so. Come, regale us with your tale.
Where do we begin?
I think we begin with a question. And that.
and like all 4 of the Malt Masters. And yet you are still here.
Yes. No little thanks to my friend Kirik here. He can only describe as he works miracles. That's the only way to describe it. We would not be here without him. He is a trusted friend to us, and he should become a trusted friend to you too.
I also have to say that during a fight, or after a significant fight, we seem to have seen Kirik's arrival to Nylin. I'm guessing broadly similar to how we arrived here. Do you know anything about this?
At this point, the high elf figure speaks up. I'm afraid, well, we brought you here, Dargon, and
Yes.
tell me, how did Kirik here come to?
Well, from what it looked like us, there was sparks of arcane energy in this cavern we were in, and after a few minutes, he just appeared out of nowhere, chucked up just like Ander did when he arrived. Sorry, Ander. And
Okay.
looked very similar to the way that we did when we arrived. Pretty fucking rough. That's why I'm putting 2 and 2 together. But of course, if you didn't bring him, and I will trust you, if you didn't bring him, who did? Quite frankly, I'd like to give him a big hug. But also, who are they?
The reason
With this,
we thought Go on.
the high elf pushes her chair back, stands, walks over to Kirik, and holds out her hand. If I may.
Sure.
I tried the
She
wine.
places the other hand on top of yours. The wine is fantastic. Like some of the best wine you've ever tasted.
Little bit of a moan comes out of the Dargon as this is happening then. Oh, yeah.
And the high elf sort of looks, and then she closes her eyes, and then her eyes open, pure white. And there is a glow, a blue glow around her hands, as her eyes then close, and she returns to her seat, draws herself in, takes a shaky sip of wine. You have a touch of the wild magic of you, Kirik. A lingering presence, but a presence nonetheless. Strange is not often it has brought individuals to Nylin, and they have stayed. Perhaps the wild magic is not as wild as we once thought. And she sort of drifts off into her own thoughts for a minute.
Is the
Which
wild
point the
magic
Cooper sort of-
something part of Nylin, or is it more? I don't think I've ever heard of the wild magic.
Surely you have seen, in fact we know you have seen, strange events, strange occurrences in this land.
Oh, I just didn't know
Did
that
we
was
not
called the
explain
wild
to you
magic.
last time that this land was rife with magic?
Yeah, I just didn't know it was called wild magic. Usually, everything that's come
well,
out of
it
a
isn't.
portal like that, we've blown its head off.
Very glad that didn't happen to me.
It is the nature of things. Wild magic is, as I say, wild. It is untamed. It is uncontrolled. It is dangerous. It can have
That would
untold
perhaps
effects.
explain why Ander got struck by lightning. There was this sort of same energy that happened around it.
Interesting,
Yes.
interesting. And the high elf at this point sort of zones in and you are well?
The weird thing is, it didn't. although it stung, but it didn't cause me any lasting damage, just silk appeared from the entry point or the contact point. I just thought nothing of it.
Strange. It's very strange. At this point, the Cooper sort of chimes up. Do lighten up, Stilly. Oh, yeah, Stilly. Yep, Stilly. Got that one right. I have to remember my own pissing names for my characters now. So, boys. Where did you go when you left here?
Yeah.
You headed to Moonbright.
Yeah. Feels like a long time ago. Anyway.
So long.
Moonbright. Well, that was a fun one. Main importance, I would say, would be I became their champion in their fighting ring.
So we heard. Rich. Well met, well met.
Aye.
Rich.
And we also seem to find that the mayor of Moonbright happened to be under the spell of the Eladrin, or by some sort of connection. And with a little bit of help from Nathan, we managed to bring him down. Mayor, I hope, as well. We have not come back via Moonbright, so we do not know.
Yes, the trade route had become stale, but is now free-flowing once more.
Good to
Seems
hear.
your actions have rekindled a partnership that seemed to be
You are welcome.
dwindling. Indeed. You have our thanks. Tell me the rest.
From
From
there,
Moonbright.
Do you want the long version, or do you want us to cut to the chase?
Let's have the important details. The minor things we can discuss over maybe a little bit more of a whiskey than a wine.
from there we made it then across the seas to the island to the east. In Greenflower, yet more obstacles from the Eladrin were shoved in our face, and that is also where we met our good friend Kirik. There was a
The
demon
reason
that we had to fight, and there was also, I'm sorry to say, I know that before we left we saw that potentially one of our previous party had been slain. It however had to be that by our hand Dawncaller is now resting after have been bent to the Eladrin's will. He has a good resting place next to the sea now. Dargon stops speaking for a moment and looks down.
And the Cooper sort of looks down for a minute. A shame. To Dawncaller, may he rest in peace now.
Dawncaller.
Now, the reason we thought that you may have sent Kirik to us is because after he arrived, the first part of the prophecy and the second part of the prophecy that we have found, and I know your ears have pricked up now, so I'm getting to the good bit. The second part of the prophecy and the first part now, originally the first part of the prophecy was for me and Dargon. Now it reads, from royal creed and endless plunder, this land of old shall tear asunder from space and time till heroes 3 restore this land of honesty. And the second part we retrieved reads, Masters of Grain and Spirit 4, and I'll sort of nod to them because I think it means them, shall tend the tear and guard the door till heroes 3 become unknown and take the mantle for thine own. I'm not quite sure what all of that means. I think we're making good progress.
Well, indeed. Blender, what have you to say on this? And at this point the tiefling sort of sits forward. Well, it would seem our work is not done, but somewhat lessened. I would interpret that second prophecy to mean that it is these gentlemen here who must fight to free Nylon, the task which we set about so long ago. I would also hazard a guess that our seer friend is still pulling strings from behind the veil.
What door are you guarding, do you think it means?
Well, and she sits up at this point. Clearly you must understand by now that to enter Nylon is no simple feat. This land is separated. It was removed. We've told you the story of the three brother kings, and how in a final moment Nylon was stripped from the land it once belonged to. We managed to pierce the veil into this world in a time of our own need, but also a time where Nylon needed guidance. Hence we have now secured this position where most, if not all, of the various cities, towns and villages know of us and know we are here to help. But there is evil. You have experienced it firsthand. It is that evil we seek to drive back, and then hopefully, maybe, we can return Nylon to its former state.
Why is the Eladrin opposing this?
The Eladrin has only made himself known recently. Before that, we knew not of the force we were challenged by.
He wanted
We need to say that it is interesting. Yes, well, there are a great many who would like this prophecy, I expect.
Why?
He also appears to become. We suspect he can come and go at will from this plane to the next, and we suspect it's via the Fey Forest.
Phaliad?
Yes.
What makes you suspect that there is another plane in Phaliad?
No. From
Maybe not
this
a
world
plane,
to
but
our world, where we
portal.
came from. Yes.
Kirik, you were saying, sorry?
Maybe not a plane in itself, but a gate of some sort. We talked to a traveling troop in Seameat, and they exchanged not in gold but in stories. They had many a tale to tell about disappearances in the Phaliad. I'm sure you are aware of such a thing. It's, well, in my studies I've been able to identify that the Fae is the origin of individuals like the Eladrin, so it is not out of the realms of possibility to assume that something is happening over there that we, and seemingly you, have been able to identify yet.
Interesting. Perhaps a gate to the Feywild, you suspect?
We would need more understanding, but yes, that is a theory that we have.
Very well. We shall certainly consider this. Now, the second prophecy. That must not have been easy to find. How did you come by it?
It was in Ironforge. and there were many obstacle on the way to Ironforge as well as actually in Ironforge itself. However, we did end up retrieving it, and something was learnt about one of the deaths, or maybe the only death of the brothers. It seemed that my sword that I did have struck the blow. This seems too much of a coincidence. And it was also struck
at this point,
by
carry on.
a creature I've not met before. If the prophecy and our visions are to be believed, visions that we received, if memory serves, in Moonbright, or enhanced in Moonbright, were of a winged creature with wings that didn't seem like it could fly. So, if you know of said unheavenly creature, it seems that that is what struck the killing blow.
At this point, the Dragonborn, who you have not heard speak before, sits forward and sort of forked tongue lashes out.
More to this story. There is. Met someone in Ironforge, did we?
I look to Kirik and Ander.
Yes. Yes, we did. He was a fallen angel by the name of Timael. Do you know of him?
No. But something tells me he was important in this revelation.
At this point, I stand up, walk round to the fire, with my back to the table. Timael is currently called Timael the Damned. If I understand his relationship correctly, he tried to serve, and still does serve, Paylor. But it seems that something pulled him astray, and during that time he struck down one of the King brothers.
The damned indeed.
He...
Not only himself, but this land.
He currently...
He was sealed in Ironforge. We had to get through a powerful incantation on the door.
Sealed by another, or sealed by himself?
We didn't ask, but...
I certainly remember him saying he'd put quite a lot of the other obstacles in front. I just don't remember in my pain whether he'd also put the door.
He seems to be quite a powerful being. It's not out of the question that he is probably the one that put the defenses up, and even the constructs we found at the entrance.
He was certainly, I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say eager to help, but he was helpful.
Yes.
And it seemed that he didn't necessarily want his actions to be final. I wonder whatever dragged him from his previous deity had not had a full power on him anymore.
With that, the Dragonborn sits, quietly ponders, looks. The Cooper speaks up again.
Well, quite an adventure, boys. We obviously know what happened outside Iron Forge. Delania and her husband. Unfortunately, Nathan now lies in a coma.
How did this happen?
Stable? Well, your new foe has some gifts,
Thailania,
if you were to call it that.
We saw, heard, felt quite an astonishing amount of power come from the area as we fled. Was that from you or from him?
If I could summon up that power, well, I don't think it'd be a problem anymore, put it that way.
Then
No,
how did
he
both
had.
of you survive, and how did this happen to Nathan?
Oh, that's just it. He's my husband. He protected me.
Always the gentleman.
At this point, she becomes a little bit shaky, sort of her voice begins to falter a little bit. We both saw it beginning to happen. He summoning up great energy only to then let it loose. He shielded me. But took the brunt himself.
Is there anything that can be done for him?
We have tried. I suspect it is time now. He deals with death every day. Or did.
Kirik, is there
He
anything
knows
you
what
can
he's
do? You've brought him back before, pointing at Ander, and you have helped me on no end of occasion already. Is this your kind of thing?
Perhaps I would have to. Did I notice in? I wanted to ask this earlier. Did I notice when we walked through on the temple if there was a statue to the Raven Queen?
Make me a perception check, please.
18.
Yes, there was.
Cool. Then I say, I would like to take some time to talk to the Raven Queen about this. But
The Mistress of Death.
so,
Fitting, I would guess.
yes, I am somewhat of a guardian between the lines.
Interesting.
Can I take a quick glance at the map and see
Yes.
if there's any kind of writings or miniatures or anything placed anywhere?
So, as you look at the map, it is one of the most complete maps of Nylon you have ever seen. To the point where it has some fresh ink marks as well. You see to the western side now, where the mountain range of the Malt Masters Keep is, a new entry, freshly inked. Drawn as a large crater with the word Wrathstrike underneath it.
Yep.
The rest of the map is very familiar in the fact that the copy of your map was taken from this.
Is there anything drawn over green flower?
There is a question mark placed next to green flower.
While this is happening, I go over to I forget her name every single time.
Thailania?
That's the one, Thailania. Yeah, Witchwood. Just kneel down, take a hand. Still holding glass in the other hand.
She sort of pats your hand. Now, doggone, come.
Been with this lot. I'm becoming all that soppy nonsense. I'm really glad to have had you guys fight by our side, and we want to do everything to make sure that he's alright.
I have faith, if you can call it that.
You know, I'm new to this
He will be
faith,
well.
malarkey.
So I could see as she eyes towards the brand now on your chest.
Yeah. Seems that
A little bit similar to my own situation, I think, there.
we'll speak more over drinks later, I'm sure.
Indeed.
What do you know? Curiosity's got the best of me now. What do you know of the surviving bloodline of the three kings?
Who are you asking this to?
Timiel.
I take a quick
Well-
glance at Ander as he says this.
Timmy, I mentioned that it could be significant, but we don't know where to look, where to begin, or what to do with this information. We thought there were no survivors.
Make me a deception check, please.
Fucking well good at them.
Still have advantage.
I also have
also got
advantage on Oh yeah! Cock. I got +8, right? For deception.
9.
And the highest I got is a 13.
In total?
Yeah.
Boy.
Can you guys remember what the creature was that we met on the way to Ironforge? This is me asking.
The lionin or
It was the lion guy, wasn't it? Yeah. Was it lion head or?
lionin? Yeah,
Yeah.
lionin.
Oh, the dude who we gave the book back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So as you say this, Ander, the Dragonborn, the Stillman as you know him, and the Tiefling turn to you. The Tiefling doesn't say anything, but she just looks, waiting, as the Stillman... Do not withhold the truth from us, Ander. Speak plain, and we shall be plain with you. What is it you know? What is it you are hiding?
Okay.
I stand
all right.
up quickly at that point. Alright, I'm sure that Will will say, but would be interested to know about the brothers' kin, more precisely their father. What do you all know about the original king of this place?
Well, Stilly, I think this one's yours.
And the High Elf turns. In my research, we know there was a king. By birth, by marriage, by adoption. He had 3 sons. You know of their fates. The king's name still evades me. One day, perhaps I shall understand it, and perhaps I shall understand more. It is known that he united the land, united the dwarves of Shiverspire, united the orcs of Ardburig in their island, and also united the islands into a single kingdom under his rule. And then there were the wars, or I should say, there were the increased scale of the wars. The gods, the forces of the Hells, the Fae. Well, I've told you of the magic, the wild magic. They all sought to tame it, control it. It was in giving his sons to these powers that the wars were ended, and peace, albeit a tentative peace, was established. And then there was the desolation. And now we are here. I know not of any bloodlines anymore. Should have all ended with them. Unless, that is, you know something we do not.
We met the king when we were found ourselves in the cave.
But surely he does not live.
Not precisely. There was a residual presence, sort of ghost, if you'd like to call it that way. He also had some protection placed that we got through.
Fucking doors.
Not without personal cost for some of us. But yes, we found the king, and he seemed to have been buried in the same place of a strange and evil weapon.
Please. Hold on. I must enter this into the writings. And she stands up and very quickly leaves the room. With that, we're going to take a short break. Cool. So it's about 5 or 10 minutes, and the distiller, as she's known, comes back in, opens a huge, great leather-bound tome on the table, and takes out an ink pen or an inkwell and quill, dips it in, and begins to write a few details down. Continue.
I must admit, I know you've sensed it, but I'm holding back because I'm just going to have to come out and say it. I feel like we are caught between 2 puppet masters, the Eladrin and yourselves. We feel like you're not telling us everything you know, and so we are not telling you everything we know. If you must know we're important, otherwise you wouldn't have brought us here, but why? I've died, Dargon's died. It just feels like we've been hung out to dry, to be honest.
Yeah, I have to admit, I have to thoroughly agree. I know that you've now said that Kirik may not have been brought by you, but all of this just seems like it's got some sort of connection to it, and I just have that feeling, as Anders put.
The distiller thinks for a moment, puts the quill down very gently, folds her hands, and then turns to you all. Her eyes very stern at this point. I suggest you think on your words very carefully, human. Goliath. Yes, we brought you here. We brought you here because we were guided so. We have trusted you with a task. If you are unable to perform that task, then we can very easily send you back.
Is this a bluff?
Make me an insight check, please.
Oh, I'd like to join in on that one if I may.
16.
Okay.
Yeah, 13.
There is not a lie, but there is something slightly off with the statement. It doesn't seem like an outright lie, though. There's a lot of honesty in that statement.
Okay, sorry. Just
surely.
Can Dargon remember in our last meeting that we knew if it was the seer guiding the Malt Masters, or have we actually heard that they're not the actual puppet masters? It doesn't seem to be something I can actually remember.
Yeah, I'm not remembering them telling us they were guided by someone else.
No. So I don't actually think that I can remember.
That was about 18 months ago.
It was a fucking long time ago, and definitely before I was taking notes.
Take notes, people.
Yeah, no. Okay, so back in the game.
D&D players, take note.
Take note.
Take notes and check for traps.
Yeah. The man
struggle with it.
We're going to get that on a t-shirt for Ander, I think.
Oh, yeah. Keep calm and take notes, and keep calm and check for traps. Right, back in the ring. So you're being guided as much as we are, then? Am I understanding that correctly?
No one operates in any way without some form of guidance or knowledge. Do not think we send you out on a whim.
Why did you send us out then?
Well, technically you were not sent out. The other two, however, were tested, among a number of others. And it is these two who passed the trials. We needed champions. It seems now we have 3. Or is that no longer your wish?
I was just merely pointing out, you need us as much as we need your help. So, I suppose what I'm asking for is all of your resources and all of the help you can provide.
It also seems to me that our wish doesn't really account for much, since apparently there is a prophecy that indicates the 3 of us are meant to save this land or something of the sort, so to tell us that you are going to send us back doesn't seem like doesn't seem like a hollow threat. I'm sure that many of you are powerful enough to do such a thing. It just seems like you will be damning Nihilin itself.
Kirik with the massive balls now, that I love it.
Hear him going cling clang under his legs. Bloody hell.
You, Half-Orc, although you may speak out of turn, Yes, you speak the truth. We need you. Or rather, Nylin needs you. Or do you see it fit to damn an entire kingdom?
We don't. We want to help you and help this land as much as possible. The only thing we ask in return is information. You seem to have sent my companions here without any real information of what they were facing or anything like. So, if that knowledge that you grant us takes the form of information that you provide us all access to libraries and the swords, we'd be ever so grateful.
We said to you last time, the libraries are there for you to use. The information is lacking because the information is lacking. When you ask the right question, we can give you the right answer, if we know it. As I have shown you today, we are still discovering things. We are not native to this land.
Alright, okay. I think we all understand where we're all coming from now. I'm sure you can understand our hesitancy with our information, as much as you may not like it. And I hope that at least some of you can also understand our mild mistrust in the fact that we seem to have learnt a hell of a lot along the way that we kind of feel like you would have known. If, however, that has not been the case, then please accept our apologies. However, we are new to you, you are new to us, and we simply want to stay alive and defeat this evil, be it the Eladrin or what brought Nylin to its knees. I do now see it is better that we work together and nod at each other's throats, but it has been one hell of a journey there and back, and it seems that we're going to be going along further.
I've got a bit of a subconscious prejudice towards elves after the Eladrin treated me so bad, to be honest. So I just don't like her. She's a bit of a snooty cow. I think is what I'm just thinking in his head. No, this is what I'm thinking in his head.
Bloody hell.
Thanks.
Don't worry.
I think every other character just went...
So I just don't like you.
And Anders there 1 minute and it's just a pile of ash afterwards.
Yeah, it was a bit of monologue, but it was...
Disintegrate.
So you know where I'm coming from.
So I suppose we've got quite a few questions, of which they may well simply become your questions, less than you giving us answers. So I want to know what the bloody hell the Eladrin wants, why he wants the prophecy, and it is our understanding, and lads, tell me to shut up if I'm saying too much, but there's more to this prophecy. And I'm guessing that...
And I look you in the eyes if you go, should I tell them?
I nod.
About... Which is
this point is like...
Thieves' Camp, should I tell them about my Christmas party hat?
Kirik nods.
Enough of the silent messages, boys. Let us have honesty in this room and at this table.
There's clearly more to this prophecy.
Okay.
And as we spoke about the fact that we met the echo of the king, we learnt quite a lot. And all yours.
Mainly the fact that I might be the only living heir of his biological son. And the potential king of Nylin.
Now can you understand that we have been a little freaked out about this information and making us rather suspicious as to why You brought us here.
Or whether to believe it at all. I mean, to be fair, I did look like the man, but...
He did look very much like the man, I have to say.
I'm still processing it, to be honest, and I haven't had a chance to even give it much thought. Did I mention that I died? So it's all been a bit traumatic for me, to be honest, but yeah. Apparently I'm the king.
I have to admit, everyone, he hasn't bloody well shut up about it.
The Malt Masters have not said a word. They are looking at each other.
So, we have
Thailania
a potential
at this point fills up a glass, slides up on the table. Your Majesty.
Thank you.
No, don't. We're not doing that. No.
And she chuckles to herself.
I'll take her out
Sort
and
of
get
sits
it.
back.
So, you can understand why, if we've got a potential heir to the throne, we had me walking around with the weapon that started or ended the war or whatever, however it works, did something big. By the way, I hope to get that back at some point. And we've got Kirik falling out of nowhere. And we have a fallen angel in a forge sorting out my sword. It's all just very, very confusing, especially the fact that Eladrin found us straight after Ironforge. Beat the living bejesus out of all of us. And wanted the fucking prophecy. We're out of our depth.
And out of ideas.
And they all sort of go to open their mouths. The Cooper at this point just picks up a glass, drains it, sits, and then the distiller again, her demeanour calming somewhat. I have to admit, and we are as confused as you are. However, it would kind of make sense that if you are the heir, it is only right you're on this quest. Do you not think?
I'm just worried what will happen if the Eladrin finds out. Maybe he suspected the same and that's why he manipulated me all those years. I just don't know.
So,
He raised you, did he not? Carry on.
was Anders' grandfather the one we spoke to, right? In the cave?
Was it grandfather, or was it like 4 or 5 generations?
Great grandfather,
Yeah,
something like
cool.
that. There's generations.
Was he the one that kind of ripped Nylin out of the map?
No,
He-
so Timiel
he-
was one of his
father.
sons did it.
He actually from what you just said, Matt, not long ago, he actually brought peace to Nylin by separating out each of the 3 magics to his sons. It was then was it the killing of one of them by Dawnbringer who actually then brought that down?
Yeah.
Actually disrupted
Timiel
the balance.
killing one of them started it all off, didn't it?
Yeah. And the room goes silent. As
Yeah,
somehow
that's
just suddenly
what happened.
realises that something has just clicked.
Yeah, no, something has just clicked. We're missing
No.
something.
Nice.
We're missing a piece. Anyway, sorry. Back in the room. It's exciting. When you watch the recording back, you'll see the exact moment when I'm like, oh shit, hang on. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, sorry.
Fucking hell, where were we? Oh, yeah. So I was going to say, in any point in your learning of history, especially about the king we seem to have met the echo of, is there anything in their lines of a cursed sword? Any connection, any sort of legend that you are aware of? We have already, I think, mentioned the fact that there was a cursed sword in the same cave, and it was the downfall of Ander.
Yeah.
Is that in any way connected, or is this just some sort of random burial ground of both the original king and a random sword?
We've obviously heard talk of items being cursed. It is not beyond the realms of any powerful wizard or magic user. No specific swords have come to light.
Yeah, just wanted to check.
Do you have the sword?
Do we have the sword?
Yes, but and I kind of like try not to look at Ander. For specific reasons, we thought it was important to keep it away. It has some influences on the minds of people. The sheer presence of it seems to turn them into their worst selves, so we think it's best if we keep it away.
Well, if that is your wish, then so be it.
It requires more research done, essentially.
Very well. If you need assistance on this, my workshop is open to you, and I do not say that lightly.
Who's saying this, sorry?
The distiller, so the high elf.
If we are in the giving mood and learning of my new royal status, am I able to command free use of what's his name? Menagerie shopkeeper man. Cock. What's his name? Mephisto. Right, let's rewind 10 seconds. Do I garner free use of Mephisto's menagerie of magical items? Because we are going to need to stock up on some stuff. And I, for one, do not want to pay his prices.
And all four Malt Masters literally start laughing at this point. And the Cooper turns to you and says, "Boy, king or not, your station has certainly not been proven. Mephisto is a force unto his own. He'll charge you probably as much as he charges us, the sneaky bastard."
Yeah, it was a nice try, Ander.
Yeah, you know, you can't blame a guy for trying. I promised Bothrid a new javelin. I didn't want to pay for it. So where do we go from here? What do you think is the next course of action for us?
I mean,
do you think we are?
I think we
strong enough?
We clearly need more prophecy, and I value the opinion of the Malt Masters. I know there's been many revelations.
To the Fayliad Forest. Do you think we are strong enough to survive?
There are other areas in which we need to go as well, but for the life of me, I can't remember being smacked over the head that many times. How many places we really did need to go, and which would be the more perilous?
There was a place up north, wasn't there?
There was a place up north, but I worry that the pass
over the mountains from information we either gleaned here or at Moonbright, that was going to be one hell of a bad pass.
But I'm just thinking, if our suspicions are correct, and that is where the Eladrin is coming and going from, we might be able to block his way, or his entrance, or prevent it from coming back to the site at least.
I feel like we certainly need to go to the forest. I guess it's just a matter of how much on offense do we want to be? Do we want to go right up to his, assuming that our theory is correct, right up to his backyard, and maybe that's not what he's expecting. Maybe we have an element of surprise there, but it also seems terribly dangerous.
You know, there's another book that's on my mind, Kiri. There was that book we gave back to that lion fella. It was all about us getting out of that cave. It seems to have knowledge of the fact that we were able to teleport out of the cave that we found the king in. Do you guys have any form of quicker transport than what we have currently been using?
I have set up teleportation circles to certain parts of Nylin.
And would that be something we would be able to utilise? I don't know how we would get back, mind you.
Well, you only have to know the runes and the spell. And if you know the runes of the circle, the destination,
can this be taught?
Then
not to a fella like myself, I would admit.
Don't put yourself down, Dagon. You know many good spells.
It can be taught.
Is it like Misty Step on steroids?
Well, to create the circle, it is well, I have my book of spells, and it is one of those spells in that book. This is the distiller speaking again. It is not the most difficult spell, but as I say, to use it effectively, you must know the runes of the destination.
Do you have one in the keep?
We have one here as a destination. It is the one that you entered this land on. It is in the cave.
Ah. I'm sure we'll come back to this, but it would be very useful to have a quick and clear connection back here. For it seems that we do seem to come across quite a lot of information in our time. If we could find a way of making it back.
There is perhaps a scroll can be made for you if none of you have the ability to cast the spell.
Kirik, is this something you would be willing to learn or able to?
I don't believe I'm able to learn.
Is it a wizard spell?
Yeah, it is a wizard spell, yeah.
It is a wizard spell.
Yeah.
I can potentially learn it.
Oh, wow.
But it is 5th level.
Oh, never mind then. 2 years away.
The Cooper at this point speaks up. Gents, I have fought many battles. You say this Eladrin kicked your ass last time.
It seemed we returned the favour rather well, but it also seemed that we were very near eating dirt when he regained what seemed to be quite a lot of power. Am I right, boys? Or was I just delirious?
Right.
He seemed unkillable.
Yeah. We seemed to really take it out of him, and then, boom, he's back.
Might I suggest building up your own strength first, before poking him in the backside?
We didn't.
If you still wish to go to Phaliad, then we won't stop you, but maybe not the wisest if it is his home. We don't know, of course. I certainly wouldn't tangle with him again until such time as you are strong enough.
Well, we didn't want to exactly tangle with him back in Ironforge. It seemed to have been his choice. However, I get your point, and I do think that's possibly the right way to go.
There might be obviously something else we could do. I'm going to turn to the distiller. We could always have some sort of look at the Phaliad forest. I can do it on a very limited basis, but perhaps you are able to scry at the greatest distances and with best effect than I am.
Is this a similar thing to your
Perhaps.
speaking thing, Kirik?
Yes. I haven't dwell on that power yet. Not here anyway, but I am able to look at I'm able to look at a place for a very limited radius, but I do not have access to the great ability of that.
That's very interesting.
Perhaps with this new knowledge, we may be able to see something. Not today, though. Something for another day, I think.
Another seemingly insignificant detail, but in the spirit of open honesty, I think I might share it. So, while we was in Seameat, I came across he would have been a companion in a past life of mine, a buyer. He ran the Thieves Guild out of the lighthouse in Seameat. When we left Seameat and returned from Greenflower, the lighthouse was empty and the lighthouse was full of dead elven guards who had a warrant for his arrest. We hadn't come across many elven guards, so we wondered if you knew where they may have hailed from.
And what was the symbol on their armour under?
It's a very good question. I know the bloke's name was Arendriel.
Arendriel?
I don't think, and
I rolled a shit check.
Oh yeah,
Just
you did. Sorry, it was Kirik. It was Kirik. Check.
It's just pretty armoured to me.
I'm trying to look.
It's a bloody
Distant
good question.
Wilderness? Distant Wilderness Clan? Is that what it is?
That's the Tabaxi clan.
We're making Matt go through a million pages of notes now.
I mean,
Can you
check
check this information on Ironforge and then on Greenflower and then on Seameat and then we're going to go back and Hi.
If you could just have the whole world prepared at like all times, that would
If you don't mind.
great.
That'd be great.
Just
you
get
can be Rain Man.
Yeah. Just get an AI server in the background just popping out the information. Jarvis, what are they on about?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if I did figure out who they were, I didn't write it down, which is really bad practice. So.
You did, however.
Shame on
speak
you,
to the
Kirik.
elf,
Shame on you.
Yes, we did speak.
the dead elf, didn't you?
We did, yeah.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
corpsey McDeadface.
You're in drill. So did that make anyone's ears prick up when I say that?
Lords and Masters.
I don't know if you have that knowledge.
Who, me?
Yeah.
If he when Kirik talks to dead people, does it happen in his head or does a dead person talk out loud?
I know, that's a very good point.
It's a good point actually,
It would have
because
been out loud.
Because if he talks out loud, I would have heard it.
I was about to say I've seen it RP'd both ways actually.
I think we RP'd that it was out loud because he spoke in Elven.
Oh yes, he spoke. Yes, and therefore Ander had to
Translate.
translate. So yes, you would have heard it because you were hiding behind
we got
me,
there.
so that you didn't look like Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
Hey.
We got there.
I remember that.
Hive mind.
Yeah. Should take fucking notes.
Cool.
Matt was with us on
Indeed,
that one
no
though. That was
finding
all a
it.
bit hazy, that one.
I'm not expecting to have to take the notes for you guys. I've got my own notes.
Yes,
No,
sir.
But,
we have our own notes. We just
As
incoherent.
so, back in the room, as Ander says, Arendriel, the distiller picks up again. Arendriel. The elves
Past
of
lover,
Deliwyn.
perhaps.
The elves of where?
he wishes. The elves of Deliwyn. Arendriel's son was tragically killed about 6 months ago.
And where?
Supposedly by a thief in the night. You say this Abaya was a member of the Thieves Guild.
Yes, the warrant for his arrest was for murder, amongst other things.
Interesting. Well, there is another mystery for you to solve.
Where do these elves
Look,
reside?
The city of Deliwyn. Some distance from here. It is almost the southernmost city on Nylon.
I'll start looking at the map.
You will have to either head down on the familiar path to Telma and beyond, or you could try and skirt around the Platinum Peaks. It is your decision, really.
just seems odd that they would be that far north, or a buyer would go that far south. Although treasure's treasure, I suppose.
Oh man, that is
That is a trek, innit?
Wow. Oof. So either go furthest south or go furthest north. Great. I feel like
On the
yeah. No, go on. Go on.
carry on.
I
On the subject of no, crack on, mate. I'll come to that in a minute.
I was just gonna say, it seems like we have my companions and I, we've been traveling for 2 days non-stop now. We had our encounters on the way as well. I think perhaps we should discuss with Bothrid as well what best course of action would be. We have a couple of things we would like to look at, it feels.
Yeah, we spoke to the sisters and wondered whether all four of us could stay in some of the lodgings outside the keep, or in the keep, outside the castle. Is this something we could do?
Those lodgings are for guild members. You are guild members. Yes, there is a few houses spare down there. Kirik, it seems you are intertwined in this story. I, at least, vote you are badged. And that coming from the distiller. The stillman sort of hisses. Be it so. And the cooper. I see no reason not to. Blender. The tiefling turns, looks at you. Looks deep into your eyes. Ponders you for a second. Seems your path, Kirik, is now our own as well. We are all on a journey together. I vote him badged. And with that, the distiller places a hand on the table, and there's a glow, and there is a golden badge or brooch with the emblem of the Malt Masters Guild there. And she sort of skitters it over to the table to you. Welcome to the guild.
Cheers to that.
Now, place it on my belt.
I think I've just twigged what we were missing when we were talking about Timiel earlier. But how do I bring that back into the conversation in the roleplay? Because it's kind of it's petered off a bit now, isn't it?
Hang on
How do I bring it back?
Well, I'm sure we can bring it back.
So the distiller turns one more time and says, while we were talking about potential options for your next step of your journey, we've had reports of disturbances to the west of the forest of Ixcalion. There are ruins there. Should you have the time and the inclination, we would be thankful if you were to investigate.
What of our other companions, Vraco and Johannes?
They are currently out on other tasks. It seems your presence in Greenflower did not go unnoticed.
Yep.
There has been a little word from the village to the surrounding keep, or to White Ridge Keep, since then. We have sent Vraco to investigate. Johannes, he is in Moonbright, dealing with our trade deals.
Oh. We were planning on coming home via Moonbright. I could have seen my old friend, but I'll catch him
I'm
soon
sure he
enough.
will be back in a number of days.
I hope that Vraco is well equipped. I have to say the Greenflower was not our most favourite stop, and did seem to be blighted every time we saw it.
Indeed.
Would love to know what happened to that village.
Yes.
I do not quite know
Been trying
why
to
it was.
contact some of the individuals there, and have received no response. And last time we left it was being overrun by undead.
That is worrying. Cooper chimes up. We'll get word to him. Tell him to be on the lookout.
We would love to hear that he responds to you. I'm sure that we will be here for another day or two before we head out. If we do to the forest of the one near us.
Ixcalion.
That's the one. I think we all need to rest up, regroup, and then decide whether we take a break from our current heavy path.
Indeed. We have talked much. Come, you need rest. I have casks to work on and ale to drink. He places a key on the table. I will get you into the largest house. Should suit the 4 of you if you wish to take
Thank you,
Bothrid with you.
We would indeed, and we are gracious for him being allowed into the keep and staying with us. He has been integral to us returning.
And hopefully with fresh heads tomorrow, we will have more information that we can work through together.
And the tiefling, the blender, turns and says, Bothrid has a good soul. He certainly knows when to fight and when diplomacy is the better of the actions. And he heeds warnings well.
Yeah. Well, one of us has got to learn it at some point.
True.
I, for one, am very measured in my actions, and always think before I leap.
He still usually leaps.
Let us hope it continues.
Yeah. My measured thought is usually
Very
just leap.
It's a work in
Cooper
progress.
laughs at this sort of a deep belly chuckle. Well then, lads, go see to your new quarters. We will be here. Just seek out one of the sisters when you wish to speak to us all again. Until then, rest well.
May I ask one more favour? Can I top up my glass before I go?
And he pulls out a flagon and just goes, take it with you.
Much obliged. Have a good evening, all. Delania.
And he pounds on the table 3 times and the door opens again. And this time Mirabelle sticks her head through and just sort of beckons.
Delania.
You'll follow her and she leads you.
I'd love to come and see you tomorrow morning. And see you on Nathan.
The house is 2 doors down from yours.
We'll see you then.
Indeed. Rest well.
Good night.
And so Mirabelle leads you back through the keep, down the stairs, along the hallway, and then sort of walks you out and directs you down towards where the quarters are. Again, quick map change. Not that one. That one. And she sort of points you down towards a stone path between what looks like a water mill of sorts and what is quite clearly the tavern. And tells you, just sort of point you along that way, and you begin making your way. Bothrid joins you, sort of watches as you leave and come down the ramp, and he steps up, walks over to join you. You can now see there is just a absolute littering of vines, plants, flowers, crazy assortment of colours and all sorts that have just sprung up around this tree. There's one that's actually in the shape of a wolf as well, and he just sort of joins you as you all make your way between sort of the tavern and the watermill, follow the path through the trees, and then follow the bend round to the left, and you find yourselves fronted with 6 rather large houses. And as you look at the key, it says 3 on it, and you see the house number 3. You go in,
You unlock the door and you find a simple but quite comfy homestead. There's a sort of chair and tables, a fire with sort of a stove type area, benches and worktops for preparing meals, some comfy chairs to sit and lounge around in, and then as you go upstairs there are 4 different rooms upstairs.
After walking about, drop my stuff off in one of the rooms. I walk back down with my goblet, a cigar, sit outside the front of the house, light up the cigar, sit there with the goblet, and relish being in a peaceful environment for a change.
Cool.
I will sit next to Dargon, I think, and play a little relaxing tune on my pan flute to add to his ambience, if he doesn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'd happily...
Maybe performance check with advantage, please.
I'd be happy to just mull over what had just happened.
It's not the best song you've ever heard, but it's alright with it.
With a what?
What'd you roll?
15.
Pretty good.
15. So actually this time, and
Top 10 hit,
probably
at
because
least.
this is the most relaxed you've been in a while, you do just manage to draw out a nice calming pan flute melody. And you see, as sort of there are people walking around, sort of you can see some flowing from the tavern. There's guards still patrolling the area, and they all catch your tune, and shoulders sort of slump slightly, and there is a general calming effect of the music. Kirik, anything you're doing?
Yes. I will go into my room. I will close the door behind me. I will start setting up a ritual circle with pieces of incense all around, about 250 gold worth. I will take 4 ivory pieces and place them kind of squaring the circle. I will sit on one of the ends. I will take out the scroll of legend lore. I'm going to take out the item from my bag, place it in the center, and I am going to read the scroll, just as the incense is kind of like completely surrounding me. Close my eyes, do the incantations with my hands, and I'm going to attempt to cast legend lore.
Oh,
And that is where we're going to leave it for tonight.
you bastard! You did that on purpose.
Oh, man.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
It wouldn't be D&D without a little bit of a cliffhanger. So thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you again to Incarnate. You've seen the maps that we've had to use tonight and just how fantastic that tool is. Thank you to 5e Magic Shop for just some other DM's tools. Hero Forge for the character designs. Tabletop Audio for some of our audio effects. D&D Beyond for just general game management and sort of character sheets, rule checks, all those sorts of things. Check us out on Twitch, check us out on Instagram, check us out on Twitter. Twitch schedule's up on all 3 of those, I believe. And also, for those of you who are interested in getting your own sound effects and musical backgrounds and stuff like that for your own game, then be sure to check out BattleBards. And if you want that cheeky discount, then enter Malt Magic at the registration window. Other than that, I have been Matt Isbell, your Dungeon Master. This has been Malt and Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nylin. Wishing you all a good night, and we will see you next time.